One thing I want people to know about me in this weight loss journey is that I understand it's not easy, and that I surprised myself that I never gave up, because I've given up so many times in the past.
I've never been so scared as looking at this number. And the number that was looking back at me was 583 pounds. That's what I had gotten up to.
My name is Anthony DiDomenico. I am 40 years old and I live in Belmore, New York. My day job is assistant service manager at a generator company. That I consider my real job is stand-up comedian slash podcaster. I never grew up, I think, as you can see probably behind me. Star Wars is a big interest of mine, professional wrestling. Is anything that a 40-year-old would not really be into past the age of 17? That's what I like. If you think about like a 17-year-old, and I just never grew up from there. Those are basically my interests. I first started doing stand-up comedy in March of 2010. I just did an open mic at Governor's. It was a bucket list thing. I didn't know it was going to really lead to anything, but as soon as I hit the stage and told the joke, I was hooked. That was it forever. And then I just started going to open mics and just started hanging around the clubs and started getting guest spots, and that led into hosting and then eventually featuring, and then, years later, headlining. Anthony DiDomenico, everybody. Anthony! I would have to sometimes take 6 to 8 ibuprofen because my knees and my back would be screaming, especially when you have 2 shows in one night. And if I'm featuring, that's 25 minutes on my feet, and I would sit to the last possible moment. So I'm on my feet is the least amount as I need to be. And when I got off stage, it looked like I just run a marathon. I was sweating, I was out of breath, I was uncomfortable, I was in pain.
Just one day started calling me Uncle Cheese. I have no idea what this means. They've given me a street name. I turned my nephews into crackheads. I walk in, looks like Uncle Cheese, you got that fucking cake pop? Ah, shit is open in my gums. I'll snap Bronco on his fucking face. Give me that cake pop.
Growing up as a kid, I always had an unhealthy relationship with food. I didn't know it at the time. You don't realize it. It was just something that, I always thought about, was always on my mind. And I remember one time in third grade even, I got in trouble because I kept on asking the teacher when snack time was. I just couldn't comprehend that it wasn't snack time and I wanted to eat my snack. So gaining weight as a child was slower than when it got to the teenage years, and really didn't start putting on a lot of weight till probably senior year of high school, the first year of college, when I was driving around more and just I can get food whenever I wanted. It would be like KFC, Taco Bell, because it was the only place that was open. It was cheap. And this is now, we're eating now after I already had dinner and the full day's worth of food. Now at 11 o'clock at night, we're eating really unhealthy fast food that was the worst thing for us. The moment I felt I was at my worst was right before I joined WW in May of 2017. I just gotten to a point where I was just so complacent and point like giving up. I was like, this is it. Nothing's gonna work. But yeah, I started not be able to move around at all. Very sedentary. And then one night, I was sitting here in my living room, and I ordered like $30 worth of Chinese food, and I had that feeling like up in my neck that I was full, and I started like breathing really heavy. And I'm like, this is how they're gonna find me. Like like Mama Cass was surrounded by food, and it was just, I'm like, I got to make a change. I got to do something. And that's when I really decided, just to give it one more chance. And I'm so happy that I did, because it's working.
It's definitely easier going through the Weight Watchers journey with a partner, especially one that motivates you and sticks by you. It's good to have that support group with you.
The Weight Watchers brought us together because I did not know him prior to Weight Watchers. And I've been like Team Anthony and his cheerleader for several years now.
As these years went on, I saw something that I never saw in Anthony before, which was like this intensity about it,
He literally is such an inspiration. He's such an inspiration to so many people. Social media has become such a huge thing with the Weight Watcher community, especially Instagram. He needs to be an ambassador already. It's been too long. He works too hard.
This whole time I've been doing WW, all I wanted to do is help other people. And that's why I've made it so public. And I've been so public with it, and why it's taking over a large part of my life and my social media presence. To some aspects, comedy's taken a backseat to it, because I really want to help people with this, because I know where I was and how I felt, and I know other people feel that way too. So if I can just tell them, listen, it's not impossible, and make them see that, I feel it's better for me, and it helps me go forward with it as well.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Happy Sunday. That's right, I came down to the preserve and did a little bit of a walk. Not like what I used to do, but just like about 1.25 miles. It took me a little longer than usually because I had to rest the knee. But knee held up pretty good. I'll see how it lasts the rest of the day, and I'm hoping to start building back up again coming here because it really makes me happy. And I just feel better already, just walking around here. So I'm going to keep trying to do it. And I actually did some of the workout stuff they have here, the push-up things. That's really hard. I don't know how people do like 50 push-ups. I did it on the bar. I could barely do 5. I went into tonight's weigh-in thinking I was going to have a big loss. I lost 0.4. So I'm down now a total of 191.4.
It's amazing.
It is, but I wanted more. Like I wanted,
hear you, man.
I thought it was one of those weeks where, like, you know, I'd step on the scale and it'd be like 3-4 pounds. Because again, my clothes are feeling looser, everything else is feeling beter. But someone said actually, it's like, you know, you get a little bit first, and the next week will be a bigger loss.
That's usually what happens to you, right? That'd
Yeah,
be like,
whatever it is. I mean, like I said, that's why I do the reflections, because let's just say if I didn't weigh in, you know, I would still feel amazing that I did all these things this week that made me feel good.
Right.
And that made me, like, happy and just getting healthier.
Right.
Like, I killed it in the gym this week.
That's great, man.
I had like the other night, I'm like, I have a goal, I'm going to burn 1,200 calories. And this is without being able to, like, do the treadmill or any kind of cardio, really using my legs because of my knee. I use that old lady hand bike. Michelle says your confidence about the week makes the number not so important overall. Absolutely.
I started the WWO podcast January 2018 as another way to keep myself accountable, and another avenue. Like, okay, I'm putting it on Instagram, I'm putting it on Facebook, and I didn't realize the reach it would have. That with people that, you know, the messages I get now from people all over the country, even the world now, and it's people like, I don't have a meeting, I don't have a workshop to go to, this is it. I'm going through the same thing.
He does the podcast, and that just gains so much traction. Weight Watchers, they're not endorsing it now or whatever, but I feel like they're eventually going to have to, because there's so many people that are like looking at it, and they know it. They know, you know, WW Bro podcast. It's all over the place. He basically spills his guts on and lets it out and airs it out.
I always like cooking. I used to, when I worked at King Cullen, I used to cook all the time, with catering and everything. That's where I learned. I like to just now find healthy versions of things I liked. I'll prep all this first, and then I'll have it for the week, and I can do anything I want with it afterwards. I can make a chicken parm with it if I want. Meal prep is a big part of if anybody do any kind of weight loss journey, whether you're doing keto, WW, or anything. I just like to have stuff made in the fridge, because when you're hungry, you don't want to have to think and look in the fridge and stare, because it'll always go the opposite way. So meal prep just keeps me on track. I don't consider myself to be on a diet. Everybody, and I hate when people say it, because I'm not on a diet. Diet is something you start and stop. This is forever. I'll be on WW forever, and I'm okay with that. For the first time ever, I'm okay with it. This is my lifestyle. I have to do this to survive. So yeah, we want to show people you don't have to eat rabbit food. You don't have to eat, you don't have to be bored. You can eat the same kind of things you're eating before, but just simple modifications. I'm making a protein pancake, like one big pancake. And it's just basically 2 eggs in here. It's very easy to make, very simple to make, and it tastes really good. Just mix it all in together. Scales, this is the most important tool I have. Everything goes on the scale, and everything's weighed by the gram. If you're not weighing by the gram, you're not doing it right. It's the most accurate way to get what something weighs. To see if you went to 0.4 ounces, but to get a real thing, grams, it's 11 grams. And what's nice about the app is it automatically tells you the point value of it. So far what this is, it'll be 4 smart points for this. I use 2 eggs, and just to give it a little more protein, I put some protein powder in it. And you could add anything you want to it, really. It's dark chocolate, which is better for you. So it reads out to 8 grams. Becomes 1 smart point. There it is. When I make something and I make a healthier version of it, I'm proud of it, and it's exciting. I want to show people, and I do enjoy eating because I'm not missing out on anything. I'm putting good stuff into my body that's going to help me lose weight, and in a way, your mind plays. Yeah, I'm playing the mind trick where I'm eating something that looks like it shouldn't be on a program. It's a little messy, but. So for 8 smart points, you have a pancake, chocolate chip pancake, blueberries, and caramel. When I joined WW again in May of 17, when I got my book and I looked down, I saw that number. It was very scary, and I was very close to a number that seemed out of the realm of possibility. When I saw that, it was like a slap in the face, like, okay, if you don't do this, there's 2 more options. There's surgery, or you're not going to be around anymore. That's were the 2 options. And I didn't want surgery. I absolutely did not want weight loss surgery.
His motivation is even more incredible, knowing that, you know, when I start to feel down, I'm like, listen, he's come almost 200 pounds, losing a whole person. It's incredible.
It's unbelievable. It's just, think about it, 200 pounds, you know, that's a human being. You know, you're carrying around another human being, and like, that's gone now, you know. And I'm only at a fraction of what that, and I feel great. So I can't imagine how he feels.
When I hit 200, honestly, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I've thought about it and been stressing over it for a long time. Well, my podcast, I'll reveal my starting weight. That's something that's very uncomfortable. There's a handful of people who know it. There's literally maybe 5 people who know, and one of them is, you know, person who weighs me in every week. So that's a total stranger. But other than a few people know it, and it's very uncomfortable for me to say and think about and talk about, trying to get rid of everything that's held me back. My willingness never to give up is what I want people to know about, because I feel that's what people give up way too easily. Because it's easy to give up.
So you're down 5.2 and you get 200. And you did.
Anytime you get a bump in the road, it's just easy to throw in the towel. I think that's what a lot of people do. So I just want to show people and let them know that about myself, that this time I just refuse to give up.